And
we're live.
Facebook says over here that we're live. YouTube says over here, starting the stream. The stream is healthy. It says it's receiving the content, and the check is in the post.
Well, the stream seems to be healthy, unlike us. Ha ha ha.
Oh wait, no, look, there it goes.
I see.
There she goes.
I see us. I see.
Okay, now I have to do my
do your check. Do your check, and I will fill people in on what we've been up to for the last
I'll do the check, and I'll suck
day.
And wait, I'll suck on the sweet as well.
Suck it.
The hashlarky.
Now
the hashlarkies are getting smaller.
Yes, I've noticed. Everything is getting smaller, apart from the prices, which are getting higher.
Okay, wait. Here, let's see if this is. Oh no!
Oh yeah!
Oh no! I've done it again. I've got the Bluetooth connections to my headphones. Okay, but I have to wait for your voice to come through.
I can hear you.
Can't hear you.
Yes, hashlarky are getting smaller. All the sweets are getting smaller, apart from
I'm checking the streams here, and I can't hear your voice at all. Oh, okay, there we go. I got you now.
Good.
I got you.
I don't know. I usually I talk quite a lot. Usually you can hear me and you can't hear yourself because I talk, right?
How unusual.
I know. It's very unusual.
There we go.
You're kind of swinging there. You've got a swing today.
A swing?
You'll be doing a dance or something.
Yeah, well, if you're lucky, there we go. So I checked the streams, and apparently the streams are okay. So there we go. Let's we can finish now. There we go.
Good. Okay, bye.
The end of the intro. You wanted to talk about something.
Me?
No, you wanted to update.
Yeah, update. What's going on? What's going on? We would like to update on what's going on.
Bring it on. We're both ill.
Yes. Yes.
We're not supposed to be ill, though.
Well, I think I've got I think the worst day for me was yesterday, right?
Jesus Christ, you're burning up.
That's possible.
You're so hot.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Have you taken something? No, you're melting.
Have I taken something?
Have you taken something?
What do you mean I've taken? I haven't taken something for me.
Fever.
For myself. For my Holtness. No, I haven't taken anything. I didn't have time to take anything. I took a hashlarky. That's good for your cough.
That's a sweet.
That's a sweet. That's good for your cough. So that's
just sugar, though.
That's good.
No?
Well, it's herbs. It's aniseed and licorice, whatever you call it.
Is that good? Is that good?
It's supposed to be.
Because I'm sucking on one right now.
It's the same stuff that's in the tea, in that tea over there, down there.
If you can hear screams in the background, it's because the children are completely untrained.
Untrained. Yes.
Well, do you know what we're doing at the moment?
Oh God!
Oh, look, the picture. We have to put the picture back up because it fell down.
Well, if you shoot that gun, Dad's probably going to freak out.
Well, if that gun makes a noise, I am going to. I will be doing something I never do, which is I'll be putting down the headset and walking over there to have a quiet word with you. Yes.
Or alternatively, we'll do a backflip.
That gun is the loudest gun created in history.
Oh, that's not the loudest one. The other one's the loudest one. The mega one is the loudest one.
Oh, that's not the mega one.
No. That was that's the shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shotgun is
I like
loud,
those little guns
that
you know, the one that actually makes the rifle sound when you.
Oh yeah, the ones with the round of bullets or whatever.
No, not the ones that actually fire those little soft darts, right? Mm-hmm. I like the rifle that makes the real rifle sound. I thought it doesn't fire anything.
Oh, the one that he once had from Tinko.
Yeah,
the one that actually made a. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool.
It's electronic, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the sound was so realistic. Except that's not how it sounded at all. But okay, I get it. Because it wasn't a shotgun. It was a rifle. And I had this.
No, we had a shotgun.
No, it was a rifle.
So it's a rifle.
I remember 100% it was a rifle.
What's the big long thing, though?
It's called a rifle.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
A shotgun is like the kind of double-barreled thing that they sell.
Oh, okay. And rifle only has one barrel, and it's more like a soldier-like
I
thing.
think you can get shotguns with one barrel as well, but
Shotguns
obviously if you
like
get a double-barreled shotgun, you get a single.
Shotguns
barrel
like
one as well.
for hunting ducks, and the rifle is like for killing people at war, right? No. I don't know. You have to give me a clear classification for female brain.
You're going to shotgun a duck, are you?
I don't know.
You're going to shotgun a duck. There'll be nothing left, right? You blow it to little pieces of dust in there.
Look at a big duck.
Big duck. You take out the entire family with one shot.
Okay. I don't know that much about shotguns.
I had this little bit of this kind of fantasy earlier about I would stand on the balcony with the
shotgun,
with the rifle.
The rifle, sorry.
That made the real sounds, and just shoot people as they walk past.
Well, like not for real. Just the sound would be real.
Yeah, the sound would be real, and
give them a fright.
Yeah, and they would get a fright, and I would just be on the balcony going, gotcha.
Did you get the idea from Will? Because he was sitting on the balcony this morning and he was shooting the taxi man.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Is there a connection between taxi and tax, or is it just like an odd language thing?
Don't know.
Don't know. No.
I don't know anything about taxis.
Okay. A picture fell down in the middle of the night last night.
Yeah, we've got this big map.
Map of the world.
Framed.
Yes, I had it framed.
You had it framed.
I had it framed.
It's
I bought
beautiful.
the map and I had it framed.
It must have been really expensive.
It was about. Do you want to know how much it cost?
50 euros?
70.
70.
Cost me.
The
map cost me about
50.
15.
Yeah.
And the frame cost me about 70. So
frame got damaged as well.
It's quite a lot to spend on.
Yeah, I know, but it's beautiful. It's a really nice frame and it's a really nice map. And it does look nice there.
And it's very heavy.
It fell all by itself yesterday.
Last night.
Yes,
in the middle
last
of the night.
Yeah, well, it was in the middle of the night. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, but we were fast asleep. It's the middle of the night for us, right? At the weekend, anyhow.
It was really loud.
Yeah.
I was like...
I thought somebody fell off the bed, so I jumped out of bed and I ran into the kids' room and everybody was in their beds and I was like, okay, well, it wasn't a child. What else was it?
We spent 5 minutes walking around the flat going, what was it?
And we never found out.
We couldn't find it.
And we just thought, oh, it must have been a neighbour falling out of bed or whatever.
I was convinced. I'd convinced myself last night that the neighbour had come home drunk and just passed out on the floor.
I thought, I actually remembered your dad breaking the bed. And I thought, that's just about the sound that it would have made, you know, if somebody lived underneath us when your dad broke the bed.
Because he was so fat.
And I was thinking, it wasn't fat. The bed was broken.
The bed was not broken. The bed was... Oh, how come it didn't...
There was a gap. There was a gap between the roast. Where did your apple go? I don't know.
Wherever... Oh, the apple. I peeled an apple for her and left it on the bench.
I was...
Well, go and see if there's a peeled apple on the first bench in the kitchen, please.
Thank you. Will is an angel. He's a lifesaver.
Occasionally.
Could be a bit faster, but other than that...
Captain Slow could be faster.
He's a lifesaver. Don't call him that.
What?
Don't call him that.
It's a term of endearment.
Okay. Did you find one?
You found something. That's the half that I didn't peel. As you go into the kitchen, Will, about 2 meters from you, the very first bench that you can touch has a half-peeled apple on it. Can you see it from where you are? No, you're waving the you're waving.
Waving the wrong piece. There should be a good one.
It should be. Will. Oh God! It's right in front of you, mate. I put it on the bench for Jazzy. Yes, good job.
Ah.
Excellent.
Ooh.
And when you're finished with that, could you bring me this green thing that's over there? Well, please.
What green thing? Oh.
No.
What green thing?
The green thing. Yes, please.
A balloon. It's called a balloon.
Well, thank you very much for spoiling the surprise. I was going to surprise the people on the internet with something, and now you've spoiled it for them.
I'm sorry, people, that I spoiled your surprise. I've already seen it anyway.
Why do you think I didn't say it? Because I didn't want them to know it.
Because I thought you didn't
remember what it's called.
Yeah. I don't know why you say things. You're weird.
I think before I speak. I'm going to regret I said that.
Me too. Me too. But every time I say I think, you say you think.
Look, it's okay. Whatever. You're missing. If you're watching on the podcast, there's something wrong because the podcast is all audio. If you're watching on the podcast, you're missing.
I can't even hear.
You're. Well, did we have a deal?
Kinda.
He's trying hard. He doesn't last for more than 2 minutes, though.
You know Will, though. He likes to talk a lot. It's hard for him not to.
Well,
we know.
I think I'm going to give him a series of warnings. I don't think I've got a choice. I know you don't like that, but there you go. Well, it doesn't make any difference if you speak or if you wave your hands in the air. Both of those things distract.
We know you can't hear properly the movie, but we can't put it any louder because then it would pick up on the recording, and then our sound would be cancelled on the internet.
It will get banned from the internet,
yes.
as has happened to.
So it just has to be the way it is, just like it always is.
There we go. But you can listen to your sister singing, though.
Yes. So, welcome to the Practical Parenting. We're here again.
Happy birthday to Will.
Happy birthday to Will. We've already said that he had a birthday last time we did. We already did say that yesterday morning.
We didn't do anything yesterday morning, did we?
In the morning.
Did we do a broadcast yesterday morning?
Yeah, we did. Didn't we?
What's my name?
Yeah, we did.
Did we do one yesterday morning?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah, we did. And then the neighbours started making noise again.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. And then I went to the pool, and there was only 5 people in the pool. It was
really?
Yeah, in the entire pool, there was only 5 people.
Oh.
Which was very weird.
Sounds good.
It was like did I not get the message that
there's shingles in them.
There's something bad there, right? It was just me and these 4 old women. And
we're all going to start peeling our skin off tomorrow or something.
Oh, that's lovely. What a lovely thought.
Don't you just love me?
Yeah, and all of your kind of horrific references to horrible things.
I know, it's a lovable thing.
So we mentioned the birthday before. Yeah,
we did yesterday. Will's 8. He still can't rip his. He still can't wrap his head around it. Wrap your head around it.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Remix. Let's get rid of this balloon, I suppose. Parents are not supposed to get ill. That's what I wanted to say. I want to say parents are not supposed to get ill. They're supposed to be like, Dad's supposed to be Superman, Mum's supposed to be Superwoman, the grandparents are supposed to be super grannies, right? And no one is supposed to get ill.
Kids can get ill, and then they stay in bed and read books, and you read books, and then you cuddle a lot, and
why hasn't any of that been happening here then?
Because you're not supposed to get ill. Because you're Superman.
All right, I'm pretending that I'm okay.
Yes.
Okay,
yes. No, don't pretend. What? You're not supposed to pretend. You're supposed to be real with your kids.
Yeah. Also, you don't want to sort of complain when
no, you don't have to complain. I mean, you don't have to be an idiot about things, right?
Oh, but then people think you're a hypochondriac if you go, no, I'm not feeling so well. No,
that's what I mean. I mean, you don't complain. But, if my kids tell me, hey, Mom, let's go skating today, I'm not going to say, okay, and suck it up and take them. I'm going to say I'm not freaking going anywhere because I've got a cold and I've got a fever and I just like to, sit here on the sofa and suffer silently, if that's okay. I'll take you in 3 days, or,
I'm not sure I like that.
That's what I mean.
Suck it up. What is that? What's that? Suck it up. Is that like deal with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah. I think
we're all for peaceful parenting, right?
Yeah.
So let's analyze that. I mean, suck it. Well, how could we say that in a more peace-orientated frame?
Did I just use it in reference to the child or in reference to myself? I can't remember. Didn't I just say that I'm not going to suck it up and go skating?
I don't know, because we can't rewind the podcast yet.
No,
so
we can't. I don't remember what I said.
On the podcast will actually know what we said. So
but anyway, I wouldn't tell kids to suck it up either. No, because
there are things that we have to learn to live with, and things we have to learn to deal with. And it looks like Jazzy is eating her sister over there. I'm happy that the people on the internet can't see what.
I'm happy that I can't see what's happening.
It's not a very pretty sight.
Okay.
There we go. I think she's finished the roast check and now she's started to eat her sister.
Jasmine, don't eat your sister.
Roll. So, no, she thinks her sister's head is a football and she's kicking it.
And Scotia seems to be laughing about it, so...
Well, you laugh until you cry, don't you?
Yep.
That's
the way it works with the kids.
It's all fun until someone gets hurt.
Girls!
That's what the teachers used to say at school.
Can you chill?
You know how... never mind. Never mind. Well, usually Facebook stream tells you like who's watching on the right side.
And there's nobody watching.
There was nobody watching, but there were numbers at the top.
Yeah? What numbers?
Never mind.
Okay. Well, next to the eye.
Eye, yes.
Eye, okay.
to be sure.
Oh, look, Will's doing moonwalking.
Giant steps are what you take.
Excuse me?
No, you don't know that one.
No.
The Police, giant steps are what you take. Walking on the moon. You know that song?
No.
You know, the singer Sting used to have a band called The Police.
Yes.
Right. Well, one of their big hits was called Walking on the Moon.
Can you sing it again?
No, because I can't sing it because...
That's probably why I don't recognize it. I was hoping to hear some kind of melody there that I could recognize.
I don't have the ability to reproduce melody today because my throat is like sandpaper. My chest is like a jar whose lid is too tightly put on.
And your head is like a bottomless pit of nothingness.
No, I was going to say it was like a balloon, actually. But
Okay.
Giant steps are what you take walking on the... No, doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't sound a buzzer. Sounds an alarm.
No, well, yeah, a little bit. But I'm kind of used to your singing, so I don't freak out anymore.
Hey, I've redesigned the mail system.
Did you?
Yes, I've redesigned the mail system. So Monday to Friday, there's a daily masterclass in English.
Okay.
For anyone who's interested, pick it up on my Facebook page.
I've checked some of his masterclass emails, and I actually think that they might be quite helpful for people who are learning.
Oh, does that mean that everything that I produced before was completely useless?
It wasn't useless. It was interesting, but it was also not as well structured as the masterclass. I think that the masterclass is step towards structured
learning.
Thank you.
Excellent.
System.
Good. Is that an apple? Is that a piece of apple there?
Oh. Did you want to eat it?
No. It did cross my mind, but I changed my mind when I saw what was left of it.
Yeah. I think it's a step towards a more structured system, which is clear, and clear information is always more easy to be used.
Stating the obvious.
Okay,
but that's okay.
So I think the new email system is cool. I like it.
Saturday is Practical Parenting Day, where I put out the Practical Parenting email, which I have to do later today.
That's Sunday. Today is Saturday. Today's Saturday, people. In case you didn't know that, because some of you are probably mothers of small children, and you probably have no idea what the day it is.
No idea.
Unless
No idea.
Well, I usually know when the weekend is because it's. Well, I used to.
You have no idea.
I usually used to know when the weekend was because that was the time when I had to feed the man. But since you work at home, I have to feed you every day, so it's like weakened or not.
Oh, so you want me to go? Okay, you want me to go? You want me to go back to the office?
Are you just making up stuff as you go along?
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah, just making up false conflicts
Well
so that we
done.
have something to talk about here. Okay.
Yes, go to the office right now.
Don't have an office. I can't go there. Right, somebody else in it. They'll be really confused if I go back to my old office. Like, what are you doing? It's my old office. Yes,
I'm teaching.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, of course.
How I miss the sound of gypsies fighting, which is what I used to hear.
Yeah.
From the window, because there was that little space down behind the building where people used to walk their dogs, and teenagers used to go to kiss, and the gypsies used to go to drink, and
you complain about
sorry. That's what it used to sound like. That's the polite version.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm pretty sure they didn't use that kind of grammar.
No, it was DPK, and you can fill in the blanks. Okay. Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. And you complain about some banging of hammer, and you had to listen to that.
What?
Often.
What?
I say you complain about hammer banging, and you had to listen to gypsies fighting.
I'd rather listen to gypsies fighting than drills drilling. 4 gold rings, 3 calling birds, 2 French hens,
1 drilling, 12
and
hammers banging.
Seagull in a pear tree.
Yes.
I've offended a whole culture again. It didn't take me long, did it? To be 20
You're
minutes.
really good at that. You're really good at offending people. We should just change this.
Willy Wonka's watching.
What?
Willy Wonka.
What? Who's Willy Wonka? Oh, Thomas. Yes, I've sent him the translation this morning. I've sent you the translation this morning.
Did some work.
I hope it's okay.
You're working for him.
Yeah, of course I'm.
Is everybody working for him?
Everybody works for him, like mafia.
He's the least mafia kind of person I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
He's one of the most straightforward and practical business people you could ever hope to meet.
That's good, and the chocolate is good. So, what else can you wish for?
I don't know. I keep mentioning the product that his company produces in the hope that some might eventually magically appear. But,
some might say, I think that he's not listening to you.
Well, apparently 80% of the people who watch Facebook Live videos don't turn on the sound.
Yeah.
If you notice now that they've all got subtitles, like all the Facebook Live videos, or almost all the Facebook videos have got
I know that you can
not real-time subtitles. I mean, not like subtitles created by the system, but people make the video.
And then they subtitle
and then they add the subtitles.
I know that.
So that they're fixed on it. Right?
Yeah.
So that people can read what people are saying because they.
Yeah, I love it. I love that when I love the captions there because I don't
have to turn on
use the sound. Exactly.
I
mean, if it's really good,
you can't turn on the sound because I imagine like half the people watching are like in meetings or in
or at work or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't just it's a bit weird if you can't really just put on headphones while you're at work in case your boss comes in and you don't notice, I suppose, right?
I don't know. Most people don't work anyway.
Yeah. So I like that as well because I don't. If I turn the sound on, I'm gonna have the kids all grouping right next to me, trying to see what I'm watching. Which makes me a bit nervous sometimes. But if it's something worth it, right? Like the little business group that I'm in, people there sometimes make helpful videos. So if it's something that I feel might be helpful for me, I will put the sound on. But it has to really be worth me taking out the. What will you do? I don't know what you're.
I don't know. You kind of wrapped your arm around mine, and I had to move my arm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why I had to move my arm, but I had to move.
Because you had to lean on me. Again. Because you're not strong today.
Q song.
Yeah.
Q song.
Me too.
Body's overheating.
Me too. Absolutely. No, I don't know if it's because of the illness or if it's really hot.
It's not the Indian summer. It's not, because it's not really. It's not really.
It's not really that hot. We were outside, and I was just like this, and I was actually cold. You know, I went out without my jacket on, and I was actually cold.
The sunshine is not very strong.
It's not shining at all.
It's not shining. Trees are going to change colours.
Shining a little bit. Yes, I love that. Do you remember when we went to Monica's wedding?
No.
And it was happening on top of a hill, and we were traveling by car to Donau Valley, and everything. It was in November, and it was actually All Saints' Day, and everything was covered in colour. It was the 1st of November. And that was the only date they could get, because nobody wanted nobody wanted a wedding at the All Saints' Day, obviously.
Did they get married in Donau Valley?
Yes. We were travelling up there by car.
I didn't see the ceremony because I was outside with
the kids, with Jasmine probably, or Zora, was it?
I can't remember.
Both of them.
I had to look after the kids outside.
Yeah, so but I remember the drive. We were driving down. We were looking around, and we were driving through the hills, and it was like, oh, wow! Everything was covered in color. It's glorious. It's really beautiful.
It's good that you can remember that.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was this sunny day and all.
I remember now. I remember there was that small reception hotel place that was next to this little church, and it was the day of some big rugby match.
Was it? Oh yeah, and you went to watch it.
Yeah, well, everyone else was
dancing.
Everyone else was dancing and drinking and eating too much.
You were like, okay, I'm off.
I went off to watch the rugby because there was an opportunity, because you get like once every 5 years you get an opportunity.
She had really nice decorations as well. You know, she had these.
The rugby match was great, though.
The leaves, and she had like a combination of colourful flowers with those autumn leaves arrangements on the table and stuff. It's really nice. They had this autumny food as well. They had like a roast duck and a pear and a dumpling. It's really good.
Not taken out with a shotgun.
Monica, could you please get married again? I really like that wedding.
Yes.
Could you not just kind of redo it again so that we can do that again? We don't have a car though,
why
so could you do that a bit closer?
Really shitty music at weddings.
I don't know why they do. You know why? Because Monica told me that.
What?
You know how they sent everybody the invitation, yeah? And they said, please.
No, I can't remember.
Well, she sent everybody the invitation, and she said, please send us some music that you'd like to hear there, so that we don't have to have the
I sent 5 songs.
Yes, you've sent more. You've sent about 12 songs to them, right? You've sent a list of songs.
Didn't she say that like nobody else sent stuff?
And she said nobody else sent stuff. You were the only one, and they played all 12 songs that you chose, right? I remember that, although you were upstairs already.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there, but it was really nice. The songs were really nice.
What a lovely idea!
And nobody else did anything, so they just had to, kind of guess what people might like to hear.
They asked the guests to be part of the event, right?
Yes.
It's a really nice idea, and the guests were like, "No,
no,
we just want to eat and drink and
bugger off afterwards."
I don't know. The whole thing is, weddings are messy, in my opinion.
Yes, they are, but I love them because like all parties are messy, right? There's messy. There's always music that you don't like because there are people that you don't know, and there are people that have no taste. Yes, and. But the whole point is that you socialize with you meet other people, you talk to other people with different opinions, and you don't have to agree with them, and you get to know new people, and you get to spend time with old people and with your old friends, and you have fun, and you make a lot of mess, and you eat a little bit, and you drink a little bit, and you dance a little bit, and it's a nice thing.
Too much.
It's all too much for you.
It's all too much. There's too much food. There's too much alcohol. There's too many people. There's too much bad music. There's too many frilly things and glasses and plates on the tables. There's too many silly things to worry about.
Well, like what?
Everybody going to park
what do you have to worry about? You don't have to worry about anything. You just park your car and then you unpark it in the morning, right?
Unpark.
nothing to it.
Could you please unpark your car?
You overcomplicate things. I love weddings.
Leave.
I love weddings and I love big parties, especially if I don't have to organize them.
What a great way to get rid of someone. Excuse me, could you do me a favour? Yes, could you please unpark your car and just kindly F off?
Okay, go.
In the potty. Where's the potty? Oh, the potty's on the... Well, take the potty off.
Oh, she'll move it. Move your potty on the floor. That's it. That's it.
Oh, grand job.
She's not wearing any pants, so she can just sit down.
She took a book earlier. She went and got a book and then
I know.
with a book.
That's dangerous. She's going to become another Will. Can you imagine having two of them on the toilet for an hour in the morning?
You can't, because we've only got one toilet. So
what if you could take turns? There'd be like no toilet for 2 hours. Everybody else would die.
You've thought about this already. Okay, you're going away to do the parental thing. You're leaving me with the people on the net.
See the potty, and I can talk to the people.
I can't go anywhere because I'm trapped on the far side here. I'm trapped on the far side of our system.
Who are you?
Yeah, why are you coming back?
Toilet.
Okay. Leave me do it. So, email systems. Monday to Friday is English language masterclass. Saturday is practical parenting with highlights of everything that we've been doing during the week. And Sunday is the free mail email. It's personal coaching and language development. So if you're interested in personal coaching, if you're interested in making good great, if you're interested in making better even better, then you can get in touch with us. And you can book a free consultation, basically, a 15-minute consultation through Skype online. And I've just finished editing 5 or 6 different little coaching videos to help people come to realizations about what's happening in the world about them, what's happening in their environment. Well, you're making lots of noise. Are you okay over there?
I just got a sniff of the sound.
I probably can't hear what you're saying because there's you're cooking in the kitchen, right? Yeah. So, what are you cooking? Are you cooking something? Something.
I'm cooking some sauerkraut soup with sausage, and I just got a whiff, and it just smells like. Don't even go there, or you'll never come back.
Sauerkraut, that's like the Christmas food, isn't it?
It just smells so good.
So actually,
what?
It does.
I know.
I can smell it coming through from the kitchen. I
know, it smells so good. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to have some now, because we're both ill, right? And sauerkraut soup is the best thing you can have.
Parents don't get ill, because parents have to be superhuman.
Yeah, sauerkraut soup is the best thing you can get, because it... Jasmine! Jessie!
What's up?
I don't know, I'm a bit worried, because that's cooking on the stove.
Is she?
Oh, she's opening the fridge. Will, can you go and help Jazzy, please?
Yes. Will, can you help your sister, please?
Okay.
Would you say everything 3 times with kids? Have you noticed that?
That's because he's watching something.
Well,
when they watch
focus.
Something, they
open the bag and give an apple to your sister, please.
Yeah, when they watch, they're kind of focused on the parallel reality. And
you have to repeat it again. The apples are going to go boom, 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 boom all over the floor. Right.
Jessie! I hope she's not getting a knife for peeling it or something.
Well, we'll end up peeling his finger like he did the last time. Right.
Jessie!
Will, is your sister okay? What's she up to? Okay, let's go.
Jessie, come back,
as long
please.
As she's looking around and not licking around.
Please come back. That's a good girl. Sit down and eat your apple. Yes. I can't peel it right now, sweetie, because I'm working on something here. But you can eat it as it is with the skin. The skin is full of vitamins.
Is she going to eat that with the skin?
No.
Is your cup big enough?
Nope.
That's huge. It's like bigger than your head. You're never going to drink all that. Don't fall into it. Stop bitching and moaning. You're always complaining. I know. Sorry. Right.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I was going on about the daily mails and
the daily mail
stuff. What else has happened this week?
Did you tell them everything about it? Yes?
No, but they don't want to know, so I'm just going to skip on to something else.
Okay.
What else happened this week? I got a new visa.
Good.
Which means I can legally work in this country. Oh, mental note. I need to talk to you about that later. We can't talk about this on camera.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to need some help with the local offices. Freudian slip there. Local offices.
Okay. That's always great.
Isn't it?
Great. Yes, I'm so looking forward to it already.
I thought we could maybe split up the work a little bit. I need help. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you need help with the social insurance company and with basically with changing your details in all the companies now, right?
I now have to go everywhere to everyone.
No, and not everywhere, because some things are already interconnected. Like if you go to the União Senskiura, you don't have to go to the health insurance company.
If you go to the do they?
Yeah. They're connected to the tax office, so you don't have to go to the tax office.
No, wait. The tax office is connected to everyone and everything, because that's how they royally screw people.
Yeah, so you don't have to go to the tax office. I think you don't have to go to the health insurance office either, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'll help you with that. It's okay.
Zara, you don't need to shout at your sister. You can move a little bit to one side.
Do you know how easy it was to set up a business in UK?
The difference you're talking about, the complexity here compared with the fluency there.
You have no idea. I went to one place where they told me what to do, right?
And you did it.
It's like an advice place. You don't have to pay for it or anything. You just kind of, you came and they told you
indirectly paid
what to do. Well, obviously,
it's a government office,
tax.
Right? I have a problem. People going, "Oh, it's free." Like nothing is.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Anyway, you have to pay for everything here. Okay, if you want to go and start, you pay taxes, right? You pay taxes, but still, if you want to go and start a business, you have to pay some fee to be able to start a business, right? And then you have to pay fee somewhere else to get some other paper, and then you have to pay another fee somewhere else to get another paper. So you have to, seriously, you have to pay for every sneeze in this country.
Did you know that you cannot start a company, you know this, you can't start a company in Slovakia without breaking the law?
Yeah?
You can't. Because you need these two different papers from these two different offices at the same time. And you're supposed to get one paper and take it to one office, and you can't go to that, you can't get that paper until you've got the other paper from the other office.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you can't get them both at exactly the same time.
That's possible. I don't know how I did it. Anyway, I probably broke the law without knowing it.
You can't start a business without breaking the law.
When you start a business here in Slovakia, you have to go to about 1 million offices, right? And you have to get papers from about 1 million offices, and it costs you money, right?
Do you remember back before the First World War? Right? Are you that old?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was about 40 back then.
Yeah, back before the First World War, you didn't need a passport to travel. You could cross any.
Just go.
You could go anywhere and do anything, and your word about who you said you were and what you were doing was that that was everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, things have changed.
No shit.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
It's the grand Borg matrix network system now knows. You know how much milk is in your fridge.
Anyway, I wanted to say, in Britain, right?
Right.
I just went somewhere where they told me what to do. And what they told me to do, basically, was just register with the tax office. That was all I had to do.
Well, that's enough, isn't it? I mean, once
just register with the tax office. I registered with the tax office all over the internet, just over the internet, okay? I got a letter from them to confirm the registration on the internet again, which I did. And that was it. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to pay anything. I didn't have to meet anybody. That was it. And when the end of the tax year came, because I started in January and the end of the tax year in Britain is the 5th of April. So when the end of the tax year came, I had to fill in my tax report, right? And I did it over the internet. I didn't need anything for it. It was the simplest tax return that you can do, right? I don't have a complicated accounting system, so I didn't need an accountant, okay?
So you don't have any money.
They have videos to walk you through it if you don't know what to do, but it's pretty idiot-proof, so you do know what to do. So I did it all in one afternoon, probably less than that, probably 2 hours, right? And the best thing is that they even send you a letter to remind you about it. They send you a letter after the end of the tax year, and they say, "Hi, tax year's finished. Don't forget to fill in your tax return." And you've got, in Slovakia, you've got 3 months to do it, and in Britain you have about 9 months to do it.
Yeah, well, there are various different levels. I mean, if you get into the Slovak system, you can actually go and ask for another 3 months. You can actually have 6 months if you want. You can ask for an extra 3 months.
Yeah, you can do things like you can send in a 0 tax return, and then a day afterwards you can send in I made a mistake and I need more time to fix it. And weird things like that.
That's the fraudulent system.
That's the fraudulent type of thing that you can do, but you can do it.
Where people enter, they take all their documents to the tax office, and they hand in everything, and then they get their official pieces of paper. And then they wait 48 hours and go back there and say, "Oh, I made a mistake. I need to do it all again."
Yeah, I need another 3 months. Yeah, exactly. And you can get it that way. Anyway, so there are ways around it. But in Slovakia, it's extremely complex.
I never call.
Extremely complex.
On the podcast.
So, things can be simpler, but they don't want to make it simpler in Slovakia because where would all the people work?
What?
Where would all the people work? All the little, pieces of chain. Where would they work if you just went from A to B without all these little people that work in between? They would lose their jobs, right? I mean, it would be very simple to get from A to B immediately, but you'd probably lose a lot of jobs in between.
Yeah, you make some very, very, very good points there. And if you're interested in learning more about those points and ideas, you can catch up with my language coaching on YouTube, the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching, where I go into these topics, the non-parenting topics, in a little bit more detail. I've restarted the education in that sense. So that's kind of cool. We had a little chat about the kids coaching from yesterday, didn't we? We had a chat about that this morning. You don't know.
I can't remember. I don't know. I was probably still sleeping. What do you mean?
The conversation about the males. I don't want to go into more details here live on the podcast. We had a chat about that this morning. You don't remember?
About the males?
About the coaching from yesterday. You don't remember?
No.
No. Okay, never mind. Moving on to the next topic.
I'm sorry.
Can't talk about something that we don't remember. Okay.
If you told me more, I'm sure I would remember if you told me more, but I really don't know what you're talking about right now.
Here's the hook, right? I edited that conversation, and I mean I
the kids coaching. Okay, didn't mean our kids.
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, you meant
clients,
your students, your clients. Okay,
yes.
Sorry.
So
okay,
I took that and I put that up on YouTube. Right? So you can go back and listen to, because we were talking about that. So you can listen.
Okay. Yeah.
You can listen to the progressive nature of introducing little coaching points and ideas.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yes.
You didn't. You didn't like it. And I respect the fact that you didn't like it, but I'm going to focus on all the positive things about it, which is the fact that if you miss an opportunity to teach something, how do you know that opportunity is ever going to come again? You don't. You've got to take those opportunities when they appear.
Yeah, I understand that.
You could spend your whole life waiting for something that's not going to happen. So when the opportunity occurs, you have to take it. One of the things that I've learned in the last few years is that there are windows. And I thought in the past these windows were much bigger, and windows of opportunity is what I mean.
And you have to jump out of them.
They appear. They're like windows of opportunity are like magical portals through time, right? They appear for short periods, and if you don't take advantage of them when they appear, they don't come back. So it's really important in parenting, in coaching, in teaching, in tutoring, in mentoring.
I like that allegory.
That when the opportunity occurs, that you take advantage of that opportunity to introduce relevant information, to introduce practical information, because there might not be a second chance for it. And waiting for somebody else to teach someone else something that is useful and practical. You've got to, as it arises, you got to deal with it at that point in time. You also got to be prepared for it as well, but you don't know at which point it's going to arise, and that's what I like about the coaching. What I like about the coaching is that it's that balance of certainty and uncertainty. I've got my plans, but I know that other people are going to bring in uncertain elements, and that creates an opportunity to learn things. And
you like that? That stressed me out a little bit when I did teaching.
The uncertainty part.
Yeah, it's stressed.
No, you know what that comes from? That when you are knowledgeable about the subject, you don't have any stress anymore.
That's true. I didn't know anything about teaching back then. That's true.
When you're knowledgeable about the subject, you did I say blah, 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 blah there? Okay. When you are knowledgeable about the subject, you lose that stress. You lose that stress because the question, you don't fear the questions anymore. Because
it wasn't that I feared the questions. That when I was teaching and somebody came to me and said, "Okay, I forgot all my books," and it was like,
well, that's what. Did you get that from? Did you get that from the coaching conversation yesterday?
Yes, I got it.
Got it.
But you know, when the student told me that, and I had like 2 hours of teaching ahead of me, right? Because we decided to do a double lesson, and he told me, "Yeah, okay, let's do it," but I forgot all my books. I'd be like, what on earth am I going to do with this person for 2 hours? Right? He was a beginner, so he didn't have that much vocabulary so that we can sit down and talk about stuff for 2 hours. I was like, what? You know, stress. Like everything I prepared just gone out the window, and I wasn't a good teacher. Okay, I was. It was work that I was doing because I, you know, just on the side of translations, and I wasn't sure, like, language teacher. Okay, I was like, I don't know what to do yet.
So how do you turn a negative into a positive? I mean, that's how you look at it. How do you turn a problem into an opportunity? And what you do is you look at the situation and you think about what would happen in the real world. Right, in a serious situation, if that happened, you know, what happens if, you know, you're an adult and you've got no money and you need to make some money fast to pay bills or whatever. You know, you have to look at the resources that you've got, and that's what, you know, it turned into a whole coaching point about. You need to bargain with me, and you think that you don't have anything to bargain with, but I'm going to. You're right there.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're just playing with your ear. I think it's still in the same position it was yesterday.
Good.
Right.
Good. Still there.
Wait, I'm just looking over there. Your glasses are not too close to that candle.
No, that's fine. That's not. No. It's not hot enough to do that.
Okay. So, it's how do you bring in, you know, real world situations? How do you truly fully understand your resources? And people don't realize.
Young people have them.
Yeah, because young people tend to live off of talking about young people.
A lot of exhilaration going on there.
Yeah, what are they watching?
They're watching the cat, the magic house. What's it called? The House of Magic.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yes, you have. It's got good music in it. It's got that cat. It's got that.
I have not seen that. Cat?
What's
carrot?
What's the name of that band? The musical band Cure? The Cure? No.
Oh, I bet they used the song "Love Cats."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well done. You brought music into it. Super cool. So. I just thought that was an interesting point about the knowledge factor. Like when I got stressed about teaching and coaching when I didn't know things that maybe I should know, but once I filled in those knowledge gaps, it became much less stressful because you know.
Go! You know where your potty is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking to Jasmine.
Talking to me.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. You're burning up. Are you okay there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Except you have to go. And you have to go and do that thing?
Yeah.
Do your thing.
I have to shut the Beethoven up.
Is that a reference? Is anyone going to get that? The fact that the potty... Is it Beethoven?
Yes.
What's the song? Is it the Moonlight Sonata, or is that somebody?
For Elise.
Oh, okay. Who did the Moonlight Sonata? Was that somebody else?
Beethoven as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, but that would probably be too depressing to play that after peeing.
Well, they could play Ode to Joy. Ode to Joy would be...
But it sounds like you're pissing on European Union.
Thank you very much for the the distant conversation. When you've got your mic back on, we can... insanity in the background, insanity in the foreground as well. Insanity everywhere. So the coaching is now up on YouTube. So you can go over and catch up with practical elements to help you recognize logical fallacies and give yourself advantages in debates and arguments using the techniques that are introduced. Learn a little bit about history, learn a bit about philosophy, psychology, maybe even etymology. Yes. Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, it's so it is. Okay, so ow!
Sorry, your feet are too big. I thought it was a rug.
My feet. Hobbit here said that my feet are too big.
You love my feet. You love my hairy toes.
Penguin. Right. Did you want to introduce a topic?
Yes. Well, we were talking about. Well, we were going to talk about tantrums about 5 days ago, right?
Yes.
And we never got to talk to it, and then we never got to do a recording afterwards. And then when we did get to do a recording, we didn't mention it because we did something else, right?
How unusual.
And I was thinking that maybe we can talk about it a little bit today, because it's something that a lot of parents struggle with that have toddlers.
Struggle. I like that.
Struggle. Yes.
Yeah, it's because you watched that gangster movie last night.
So
I don't understand a word.
And there is a lot of information out there on the internet, every time that I was unsure about what I was doing with the kids, I would just go to Uncle Google and ask a question like, what do you do with tantrums?
What do you do?
And I basically found a lot of useful information on the internet, but still when you talk about it to other parents, because there's so much useful information on the internet, you think that everybody must know that, but there's a lot of people who don't know that.
Yeah.
Or they pick up advice from other people who are not suitable to give advice or something. But but there's a lot of parents who choose to do the wrong thing. So I wanted to just say that.
Well, it's amazing that in the information age where there's so much knowledge about everything, that first of all, why does anybody need to go to any class or take any course when they can find everything on the internet almost instantly? I mean, that's a great puzzle.
Yeah, well, I understand the benefits of human interaction and in a learning process, right? I mean, you need a guidance. You won't learn to speak English perfectly.
Something going on the floor over there. She okay? Yeah, she's doing her own thing.
I'm not sure what she's doing. She's
I noticed that
eating her apple, and she's playing with
as long as she's
stuff.
not plugging her apple into something.
No, she's. What are you playing with, darling? Okay. What did you find?
If she's happy, then...
You show me?
If she's happy, come back.
Yeah, I'm back, but it's something in my desk, and I'm not sure, if it's something important.
No, there's nothing important in your desk. Don't worry about it.
So, yeah, I think the human interaction is important, so that you can ask questions if you need to clarify something, and, it's kind of warmer. And I think that, how they say that little babies react to human faces more than to anything else. I think that maybe that's ingrained in our brain, and that the learning is easier when we have a human face in front of us.
Okay. I mean, it's not really something that you can prepare for, because you can't we're going to practice tantrums.
Well, you can.
You can.
You can actually prepare for tantrums.
But,
okay. The first few tantrums always come unexpected, right?
It's like preparing for a broken leg.
Toddlers.
Right?
No, it's not, because as weird as it may seem, right? The tantrums are usually triggered by very simple triggers, okay, or are preceded by certain things happening or certain conditions being there, you know. For example, kids often have tantrums in supermarkets, okay? That's the usual cliche, like a toddler banging their head off the floor in the supermarket, screaming, right? Okay. Why do they happen there?
I don't know. Why do they happen?
Why do they happen there? Well, because parents are dragging the kids along. You know, the kids are tired. They're bored. They're seeing like thing after thing after thing in the aisle in the aisles. And finally something catches their attention, and they're being dragged away from it, and it's just frustrating, right? And they can get bored, and they can get hungry, and they can get tired, and they're not getting any attention from their parent because the parent is shopping. So that's a perfect recipe for a tantrum, right? That's a perfect recipe for a tantrum, because your physical needs might not be met. Right, you may be tired. They may be hungry.
That's the hungry and angry together, right?
The emotional needs are not being met because the parents need to focus on, you know, calculating whether they can buy this type of bacon or that type of butter or whatever. So they're focused on something else. And if this kid, you know, see something catches his attention on the shelf, and he's like, oh, I want that, right? Because finally there's something interesting. And the parents go, no, you can't have it. Then, of course, everything that's built up, all the frustration that has built up, is going to, you know, just come out. Because it might just happen that it was too much for the little kid. Now, they don't do it every time they go to the supermarket.
This bottlenecking thing is going on in the supermarket, where all these things are coming together.
And there could have been things before then either. Like this kid may go to the kindergarten, and maybe in the kindergarten he had a bad day, and maybe there was a lot of stress, and maybe he had a conflict with his friend who took his toy away from him, and just if everybody knows about the bottled emotions, right? Everybody knows about the emotional backpack, where it's one little thing after a little thing after a little thing after a little thing, and then it just takes one tiny little thing on top, and that triggers it all, and it all comes out, right? It's typical in arguments with adults, right?
Okay.
Right, like you know that with me, okay? You know that with me. When you say one little thing that might trigger me, right? That that you probably don't even mean in any negative way, okay? You would like come to the kitchen and say, where is the pepper, right?
Where is the pepper?
and if my emotional backpack is full and I've got a lot of little things and on top of little things, you know, stuffed in, I may suddenly understand that as a personal attack to my incapability of keeping the pepper in one spot, right?
Welcome to the finished apple.
And
apparently this is finished.
And I might just you know blow off. I might just go
explode.
What do you mean, blah blah? Are you stupid or blind? Why do you always have to ask where the bloody pepper is when it's always in the same two places or choice? Whatever, right? And I would
just choice.
And I would just completely explode, right? And everything that was stuffed in would come out, and you would be like, I just asked a question, right? I mean, what's going on with this woman?
Oh my God, it's just a question. Just a question.
So this exactly happens to the kids as well. So you can prevent tantrums when you see the warning signs of the tantrums. Like, you know, maybe the kid starts whining, maybe they start complaining, maybe they start walking slowly, okay? My kids used to start walking real slowly, and that would just wind me up extremely, because adults usually want to have this thing done quickly because they don't like it, and when kids don't like something, they do it as slowly as possible.
That's a great point. Like the kids walking slowly is really frustrating for the parents.
Oh my God, it can be, especially when you've got something that you speed up and the kids slow down, right? I mean, you've got these really heavy shopping bags in your hands.
I'll tell you what I did the other day.
Yeah.
Right? So I was out with Will.
Yeah.
And we were walking, and I noticed he was walking slightly behind me and slightly slower.
Yeah.
So I told him that he's the leader, and I'm going to walk one little bit behind him, and that's what we're going to do, right? So after about 10 meters, we stopped. He's like, why have you, and he looked at me and said, why have you stopped? I stopped because you stopped. Because he just goes slower and slower and slower until he stops.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the best thing, that, you know, I stop and I wait for Zora to catch up, but she stops.
Excuse me. Sorry.
It's usually, when I go out with the kids, it's usually Zora that's like far, far behind. She'd be like 10, 15 minutes behind, picking up flowers and whatever. And then she would just start shouting, and she'd wait up, and we would all have to stop. And if I stop without her shouting, wait up, she'll just stop as well, because I've stopped, right?
Well, yeah, you
so
can't
it's
stop.
Frustrating.
Right, I mean, the whole point is that you can't really stop. The atmospheric music is... Jasmine, that's great. Can you play a bit more for us, please? I like the atmospheric background music.
So first thing you can do about tantrums is you can try to prevent them, okay? If you see that the kid has had enough, you know, your own frustration with the shopping, put aside, and you just take a break.
Shopping's frustrating enough without having the kids...
throwing fits.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, you see, it's like counterintuitive for me to do that, because I really just want to get out of that bloody shopping center, right? But I have to stop. You have to think of them. You know, they need a break. You know, they need a snack. You know, they need to relax, and they need to kind of maybe get a little bit of fun going, or just something that will, you know, put away the frustration.
Can you not give kids some kind of activity thing to do? I mean, I know it's like a bit like over-prepared. Right?
When you're shopping.
Yeah, can you not like, okay, you look out for this and you pick up this.
You can, but we're talking about toddlers, right? Okay. We're talking about like 1.5-year-olds. It's your usual age of tantrums in the supermarkets. Between 1 and 2. It starts at 1 really, and it ends around 2, in my opinion. Yeah, you can include a little bit of fun, but mostly just watch out for the signs and feel the needs of the children. If they need a break, give them a bloody break, right? Sometimes that's not going to be enough, okay? Because the shopping still needs to be finished, and they may still,
of course it does, absolutely.
And they may still be edgy, and they might not have worked or something. So sooner or later, you probably are going to have a tantrum, right? Whether you like it or not.
Me.
Me personally. You are. But your toddlers are as well. So what do you do? What do you do when you have a tantrum? What do you do when a toddler has a tantrum?
Take a step back.
So you don't get hit.
I'll take a step back. Talk to them in a calm voice. Explain to them that you understand that they're feeling a certain way and they're frustrated, and you acknowledge their emotional state, and you try to see if you can communicate with them in a normal way in which they will listen. I mean, there's the classical techniques, you know, get down to their level, and you know, you can see if you can touch them or not, like put your hand on their shoulder, or if that's, you know, sometimes that's just makes them freak out even more.
Yeah,
so sometimes you don't want to do that.
Even talking to them usually makes them freak out more, you know?
Yeah.
So you can get down to the level and you can talk to them peacefully.
I think the tone of your voice is probably one of those key things, that when you talk to them, you can't let them know that it worries you in any kind of way or frustrates you. You have to stay on a level in terms of your authority as a parent.
I'll tell you my experience. Right?
Please do.
My experience is that the best thing to do is to be quiet and just to be there, and just make sure that they don't hurt themselves.
So if I said, when I said like take a step back.
Yeah. Basically, but still be there, right? They have to. It's not like I'm going to take a 5-meter step back, right?
Yeah, we're not going to run away.
Yeah. You have to be there. They have to see you. They have to know that you're there.
And you have to own the situation as well.
And you just have to stay there and wait until they calm down, right? Because you can. you can try talking to them, and if that calms them down, that's great. It never worked in my experience, okay? It never calmed them down in my experience. In my experience, I would just have to just be there and wait. The older two kids, when Jasmine did that, the older two kids would usually just laugh their heads off or something when they saw her, right? Which probably wasn't very helpful for her, but they just, I would just tell them to, you guys go and play over there a little bit further away or something.
Just to give her some space.
Yes, I would still, be watching them with
what about having things like prepared, like, something that you can give her a toy or,
it usually doesn't work.
No,
when they go like full, like full
tilt boogie.
Completely. They don't see. They don't hear you. Okay.
Oh, okay. They're in
they're like
world,
in the zone, right? And you give them a toy, and they'll throw it back at your face. Okay.
Oh.
Or you tear it into pieces or something.
Oh. Okay.
So, yeah, it's a bit crazy. Now, some parents, I tell you what not to do. Okay, what not to do. You don't want to spank in that situation, because it might, usually doesn't, but it might shock them out of the fit, right? But it's not a nice way to be shocked out of an expression of your emotions, okay?
Oh yeah, being physically aggressive towards someone that has long-term
physically aggressive towards someone who hasn't done anything wrong. Because throwing a fit is not doing something wrong. Throwing a fit at that age is expressing your feelings.
Yeah, you're
and that's never wrong. Jasmine is going to whack her head off that edge over there.
Oh, she'll be okay. She'll be okay. If nobody has hit their head yet.
I've never seen anybody do what she was doing, though.
I'm going to trust her with this.
So, okay.
That's my theory. My theory is that if it hasn't happened yet and not much has changed, then it's not going to happen.
See which corner I mean?
You think she's going to hit her head off the corner of the thing that the TV's on?
No,
no, let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Listen, if Will moves the blanket,
let it go.
If he moves the blanket just a little bit to cover the corner.
Let it go.
Okay, but you'll be going after her and cheering her up.
We're going to find out live on the internet if I've made a terrible mistake. I'm going to put my experience on the line here. It could go horribly wrong, and you could be right. But I'm going to say let it go.
Okay, so
trust the kids to.
So yeah, what I would do is I would just, as you said, take a step back, be quiet, just wait for it to pass, make sure that she doesn't hurt herself or anybody else while she has her fit. Or another option is if it's somewhere where it's not safe, like Zora once. Sorry, can't focus.
It's
like Zora once had a fit in the middle of the road, right?
That's not a good place to have a.
No, it's not. It's not. So she would kind of, would be crossing the road and she would freak out and she would just pull out of my hand and throw herself on the ground in the middle of the road. So obviously you have to take them out of the situation, take them away, just pick them up, kicking and screaming, and put them somewhere safe, right? And let them get it out of their system.
Welcome to my laboratory, where safety is number one priority. Sorry, I was just trying to be the crazy Russian hacker.
Yeah.
You didn't get that reference.
And
no. Did
after
anyone?
They calm down.
Did anyone?
Your step comes after they calm down, right? Not dubstep.
Okay.
Your step comes after they calm down, because after they calm down, they start seeing again. They start hearing again. They start listening because you're not listening. And then you're going to tell me to repeat it all again because you weren't listening.
Can you repeat it all again?
Shut up.
No.
And then they start listening again, and then you can tell them very calmly, about you can talk to them about what happened.
Right.
And you can tell them, okay, this happened. It happened because this. You want to name the emotions for them so that they know what happened. You tell them, okay, you've been screaming. You've been screaming because you were tired, and I didn't let you have this toy, and you were probably frustrated and angry at me, and so you were screaming. But
so you're giving them some like feedback, and you're reviewing the situation.
Yeah, kind of like that, so that they know what happened, so that they understand what emotions just happened. And you say it's okay. You have to validate that emotion. You have to say it's okay to feel these emotions, so it's okay to express these emotions, and you give them alternative. Next time, maybe when you're angry, it would be a good thing if you could tell me, if they can speak, okay? If they can speak. If they can't speak, you can give them a different alternative, like we can stomp on the floor, and you will show them how you stomp on the floor when you're angry, right? Or something like that, just alternative, right? And they're not going to get it immediately, obviously, because they're kids and they're still learning and they have to practice it. But bit by bit, you're going to get to a stage where we got with William and Zora, where they're going to come and they're just, well, Zora doesn't do that yet, but Will does it when he just comes and says, I'm angry. He would just say, I'm very angry, Mom. And that's good. That's good. And of course he cries and because it's an emotion. He has to get it out somehow, but he doesn't lose control completely. He just, he knows what he's feeling, and he knows how to communicate it to me so that I know what's happening. Zora has problems with basic communication. So, she does that dog language thing where she just kind of whines and barks and expects us all to understand what she wants.
I can't wait for her to get over that.
I know, that's so frustrating. And it's okay now, but when we were in Scotland, that was like the extreme that she had back there.
She was doing it all the time.
She was doing it like 70% of the time. I was going crazy, seriously. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of wild.
I know.
That's kind of wild.
So that's just about what I would do. I've heard tips like, apart from the spanking, which is obviously just a bad idea, I've heard tips like
be peaceful.
Throw them in the shower. Give them a cold shower.
What?
Yeah, mothers actually do that. Like, ooh, I gave my child a cold shower and they never did it again.
A cold.
Did you ever have anybody throwing you into a cold shower?
I don't think that you can do to kids what you wouldn't do to other adults, right? You wouldn't throw another adult in the shower. You know
that habit that we have in Slovakia at Easter, right?
To
throwing buckets of water on
throw
women.
Cold water on people and chase them with sticks.
Well, that's what you do in houses, right? When you've got flats, a block of flats, you throw them in the bathtub and you shower them. And once, I must have been about 13 or 14, I had my friends coming over from school, and they thought it's just going to be funny, right? And they would throw me in the bathtub and they'd turn the water on, and it was freezing cold, right? And I was fully dressed in the bathtub, and they would just spray me with this freezing cold water, and I actually lost my breath. It's that feeling when you, I don't know what you call it in English, when you just suddenly just go you can't breathe.
Choke or something? I'm not
right?
Sure.
The wind.
So your friends almost killed you.
The wind came out of my whatever.
My windy part.
They winded me. Anyway, it just
winding.
I was like standing there and I was like breathing like that, and it's a shock. It's a massive shock. I cannot imagine doing that to an year-and-a-half child, cold shower.
Yeah,
it's like, it's even worse than spanking them, right? It's like the same thing. It's physical violence. It's the same physical violence as it's all physical violence.
Yeah, well, you're attempting to hurt someone in order to get them to change their behavior, and
yeah, exactly.
They're not changing it because they want to change it. They're changing it because they're scared of it. They're squared and feared, to be sure, of the consequences there. So
another bad idea is walk away, right? That's another bad idea. Is to just, turn around, walk away, and say something like, "Oh, what a God! She's going to hit herself." Gee.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Go with the flow, moves, jam the mic up, rock the disco.
So, if some people could say, oh, what an ugly little girl you are when you're doing that. I'm going away from you or something.
That's not very positive.
I don't want to walk around this supermarket if you do that with you, or Well,
you're taking a negative and make it even more negative.
Yeah, so you're basically giving your child a message that when they express their emotions, that you don't like that you don't want them to tell you how they feel.
Yeah, wrong.
Right?
Wrong.
Which is never a good thing to build a relationship on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, what else could you think would be a good idea, but it's actually not?
Bribing them. But that's not going to work.
That's not going to work when they're tantruming. Yeah, it's too late for that. It's just they're not even going to listen. They're not even.
I think you have to be yourself psychologically prepared for the fact that tantrum is going to happen, so that it doesn't shock you and leave you hopeless and helpless.
Oh, very important thing is that what you also have to do is you have to zone out mentally of where you are, right? You just have to forget about everything around you.
You forget that people are watching.
You forget that the people are watching. You forget that shop assistant probably thinks you're going to break everything or whatever.
There's kind of a problem if you're more worried about the people watching than you are about the actions of your own kids. Your priorities are a bit mixed up there.
You just have to not give a shit, and it's difficult to do that sometimes.
As you say,
right. It's difficult to do that sometimes because people are watching and some of them are making faces at you like, what the hell, And I always, I had this, I remember an exact one moment when I had a problem in the shop with one of the kids of the same character, and there would be this young woman, and she obviously didn't have any kids yet, right? And she'd just be walking past and she'd just kind of turn her head and she would just give me this look like, what the hell is she doing with those kids, right?
Yeah.
And I just looked at her and I was just thinking, God, I hope you have twins.
Oh my God. Well, there's that kind of there's the contradictory perspective, which is that somebody, you have to defer to those who have practical experience. In every situation, you have to defer to those who have practical experience. And I remember when I lived in London, I had a friend who was a single mother, and she said to me once, "Oh, when you have kids, you'll understand." And I was like, "Oh, what kind of bull is that? Right? Don't use that kind of language with me." And yet later on, I've as much as I didn't want to find truth in that, it was there.
Yeah,
right? It was there that there were some things that I didn't understand until I was actually in that position of responsibility, and then you have to deal with not only the fact you're in a position you don't want to be in, you're in a position that you've held a position against for a period of time as well. So that's really complex.
I always thought, when I didn't have kids, I always thought, I'm going to do this better than that, And I was like, I'm never going to be this kind of mother or that kind of mother. And you can't do that when you don't have kids because you have no idea what you're talking about, right? Just like I can't tell a rocket scientist how to do their job. I can't judge other mothers without having that experience, right?
Oh, I could tell. And we're saying this within reason, because there are borders and boundaries, right? I mean,
yes, obviously.
So there are these times from time to time when you can see that something is not going to work as well as it should or could.
Yes, but if you've never been in those shoes, you don't know why the parent might be doing it. Because right now I'm not going to judge people who spank their children because I know that they have learned it somewhere, okay? And I have read an article with a very important point in it, where this woman was talking about, how she's trying to do.
I'm going to give you a 2-minute countdown.
Okay. This
woman
was okay. This woman was telling about.
It's all good info.
She was talking about how she's doing things better than her father, who spanked them.
Okay.
But she also pointed out how much better her father did than his father, who would just beat the hell out of them, right?
Intergenerational problems.
So even, I'm not going to judge a person that I see spanking their child because first of all, I don't know anything about them. Second of all, I don't know if that's not already 150% better than what has been done to them when they were children, right? So yes, we can always get better, right? But it is not our position to judge anybody who's not doing it the same way or who's not there yet. Okay. Because I think everybody tries to do it better.
It's not where you are; it's how far you've come. That's what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
So it's not about what's happening at the moment. It's about the changes that have happened over a long period of time.
I had a mum saying, you know, how do I stop yelling at my children? Mm-hmm. And it came out that she does it because she used to be spanked when she was a child, and she does it as an alternative to the spanking. You know, she would be spanked and yelled at, and she eliminated the spanking from her parenting style, but she couldn't get rid of the yelling, for example. So it's you know, you don't know. It might be a step forward, even when what you see is not something that looks positive.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. That's very cool. Okay, it's very cool and pretty comprehensive. So. Some of the things that you said that I liked were that you need to face it, you need to own it, you need to validate it, and you need to name it.
Can I just say one?
You've got 10 seconds, okay? Because we're way over the mark.
I just wanted to say one last thing that you shouldn't do with the tantrum.
You've got 5 seconds.
Don't do the same thing. Don't throw yourself on the ground and start doing the same thing like your child is doing. Some parents recommend that, like, ooh, that's going to shock them, and they're so going to start laughing. Well, they're not. It's not going to shock them. It's just going to make them think that you're making fun of them.
Duty done. Thank you very much. It's all about tantrums. Right. If you're online, you're watching us, it's www.nsa-slovakia.com. You can sign up to any of the newsletters, the female coaching, the practical parenting, the English masterclass. You can join us on YouTube. You can join us on Facebook. There's lots of things. There's lots of ways you can connect to us. Write your questions in the chats on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you can find the information.
Yes.
And your blog is...
Look at 21st Century Mum, spelled MEUM.com, because I've got a new post up.
Okay, and keep in touch with us, keep in contact with us, because we want to keep in contact with you. Thank you very, very, very much for paying attention to us today. Kids have got their things going on in the background, so we're going to go join them and have some lunch and do all of those things together. So we're going to say bye. Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful weekend.
To the people on Facebook over there.
Yes.
Facebook and
lovely
podcast.
To have you here.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, guys. Bye-bye. Over there. And over here, we're going to say bye to the people on YouTube. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you have anything to say.
Leave a comment even if you don't have anything to say.
Just say hi, really.